It's a welterweight war in Vegas. Dan Tom here with MMA Junkie to help you break down the main event for UFC 279 between Khamzat Chimaev and Nate Diaz. Chimaev stormed onto the UFC scene in 2020, continuing his undefeated streak in both the middleweight and welterweight divisions. He, of course, now is focusing on 170 pounds as the UFC has slated him against Nate Diaz for his first 5-round affair. At the time of this video, the odds makers and public are siding heavily with Chimaev in the neighborhood of minus 1,400. The comeback on Diaz in the neighborhood at plus 670 as your dog. Now, the line's this wide, it's easy to say dog or pass from a betting perspective, and I don't blame you. In fact, my heart will be with Diaz and his supporters at the betting window. But as an analyst, I am going to make a pick for Chimaev, the heavy favorite here. Surprise, surprise. I think that if he plays it smart and gets back to his wrestling, I think that his top game is good enough to compete with Diaz's jiu-jitsu and perhaps force a stoppage via ground and pound positionally by round 3. If not, then perhaps could end on doctor's orders. We know Nate Diaz has some bad scar tissue there over both eyes, particularly that right eye seems to always kind of come undone. We'll see about that. But if Chimaev decides to kind of get into a Wild Wild West gunslinging match like he did in his last time out against Gilbert Durinho Burns, well then, if he thought those jabs, checks, and counters, were annoying, Nate Diaz can really be annoying with that. Perhaps Durinho has more power than Diaz, but Diaz from a volume perspective and more importantly a pacing perspective could really make Chimaev pay if he's not careful. Chimaev, of course, dropped the second round on all 3 judges' cards against Burns, and as we remember back at UFC 196 when Conor McGregor dropped that second round due to kind of some pacing issues, well, Nate Diaz is like a dog on a bone and he comes to life, short training camp or not, or even if it's in the 5th round and against, well, now UFC champion Leon Rocky Edwards, Nate Diaz will be waiting for his opportunity. So I really think Chimaev's got to get it done by round 3. For more details on that, as well as pathways to victory for both men, as well as some fun stats, for example, like Chimaev being 2-0 against UFC level southpaws, check out my in-depth breakdown over at MMAJunkie.com, where you can find results this weekend.